If you were doing the earnings trade, we do have MGM. I have MGM. It's down. Let's see, I don't think this is the right data. Slowly loading. Down 3%. So I'm going to put an order to close pre-market MGM put. All right, lift. That was a roller coaster, so I have to put a lift, orders to close lift. Robinhood. Up 10% pre-market. Up 13% pre-market, lift up 23% pre-market. Upstart down 15%. Zscaler up 6%. So I'm just putting orders to close the short calls on Zscaler and other trades. So I don't miss them. All right, so this is Zscaler. Left Robinhood. Okay, doing day trading. You're doing short-term trade. It's important to put these orders and try to close pre-market, especially if the stock moved half the distance between the short strike and where it closed yesterday. All right. Mark, Patrick, Michael, sound is good, all good, great. Okay. Discord, YouTube, welcome, and let's start. Let's start. Welcome to Tradespoon in Yellowtown. My name is Vlad Karpel. I'm CEO and founder of Tradespoon in Yellowtown, and today we're going to have a live trading room open to trade stock and options using our technologies. For those of you who are new, welcome. If this is your first live event, do me a favor, type in first. Everyone else, welcome back. We're glad you guys are able to spend an hour of your day with me. Disclosures are very important. If you need to trade in stock or options, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not registered with FINRA nor SEC. I'm showing you what I do in my own account based on my own risk tolerance level for general education information purposes only. All right, very important to keep a trading plan. In your trading plan, I would write down the rules. I think the most important rules, liquidity is important, right? Having well-defined target gains, stop losses, right? Based on the probability. Trading is about probabilities. Some people structure 1-to-1, some 1-to-5, however we want to structure your trades, but you look at the target gain and stop losses. Very important if you're a trader. If you're an investor, you kind of want to also have some kind of exit strategy. People look at 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average, right? If you're a long-term investor, but you have to have a clearly well-defined plan written down that says, I'm going to exit at 50-day moving average, or I'm going to exit at 200-day moving average, or I'm going to exit at last week low. There are different kind of target gain and stop losses levels. So well-defined exit plan should be written down, and then you document every trade. Always try to keep the same number of positions. I propose 4, especially if you're new to trading. So no more than 4 positions, and in terms of risk, no more than 2.5% risk per position of your account value. All right, no more than 2.5%. Jenny, welcome on Discord. So how do you calculate 2.5%? Let's take a look. All right, so we had a pretty sharp pullback yesterday after the CPI data. So you can see that short-term, the resistance, right, is right where we trade, around 496, 497. Right. So in terms of the models, let's look at 94 is your overhead resistance neutral trend. And after recalculating, basically says we can still revisit the highs, right? Even maybe visit 480 level. So I agree. I think the strong support is at 480, right? That's the breakout. 480 was a breakout of all-time high, right? Which we spent the last couple of weeks above 480. If this level doesn't hold, right? So, and on the top, market sees that it's overbought. I mean, usually you do have, after this sharp pullback, you do have kind of ABC pattern, right? Most of the time, half of the time, it's 50% retracement, right? So this is A, right? Looks like we're trading the V and the C, right? It doesn't have to be this way, but that is one of the common patterns, especially on spike in volume and spike in volatility. So, and sometimes it overshoots, right? So B could be higher, right? So that's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2, I think at this point probably the top is set. I would ideally want a confirmation and break the lows first. But I think at this point, top is probably set. Or at least if we do start trading above this level, then I would probably trim your short position. But until then, I still think it makes sense to keep short positions. So ABC pattern. So again, if you're bullish, model does see 480. I would say that's your, right? You basically can say, listen, this is a healthy pullback, right? You turn on TV, healthy pullback, it makes sense. Right, CPI data was not that bad. Then if you're bullish, then I would have, this would be support number 1, right? Yesterday's low. If we break below 490, right, we kind of trimmed the 492. There was a lot of positioning at 490 and 492, dealer positioning. We saw that using Trader Hawk. We can look at it again. So this is your support number 1. And then if we do break through this level, then this is going to be your support number 2. Right. And resistance, the gap, we're trading 0.5% above 496, so the gap, right, 500. Right, so now this is resistance number 1, 500. and then resistance number 2. So we already kind of recovered half of the losses, right? 495.02, 12 points, 496. So we are trading slightly above 50% retracement, right? 50% retracement. So today, closing, and then we have retail data. Tomorrow is important, right? So I would look at retail data, right? If retail data is better than expected, the market could rally, right? Because there's no signs of recession. And if it's very weak or weaker than expected, right, then the pullback can start. What else? We have capacity use, industrial production. So there's a lot of data tomorrow, plus Fed speaking, Governor Water speaks. So that could create more volatility tomorrow. And then Friday, PPI data, right? So probably volatility is here to stay, right? Volatility is here to stay. We have large moves in VIX as well. And interest rates, right? Interest rates. Interest rates briefly, basically retesting multi-months, even more than a year. October of 22 high, right? October of 22 high, and also September of 23 or August of 23, where the last 10% pullback started, right? The last 10% pullback started when interest rate broke through the 430. So it's a very important level. A lot of people watch this 4.30. We're right at that level. If we have another bad news like PPI or something like that, and we trade above 430, I think that the pullback could potentially accelerate. But for now, I'm just watching 4.30. Again, I think bond market drives the equity market, not vice versa. Not everybody agrees with that, but at least that's how I look at it. And dollar, right? Dollar continues to make new highs, kind of vertically moving higher and facing this downtrend. So in terms of, so support and resistance, I would use to basically look at pre-market data. Target gain and stop losses, right? So, I mean, for short-term trading, even for long-term trading, I would use 491. So if you buy at 497, you have maybe 8 points to the downside. 8 points to the downside, right? On $10,000 account, I wouldn't risk more than $250. So that means 30. 250 divided by 8, you can buy 30 shares. And I wouldn't spend all of them, right? We still have to kind of clear this gap onto this 496 level. So H times 30. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Meanwhile, I'm watching the trade from yesterday, right? I put on MGM, RM Condor. So I do have 41 put that I do have to pay attention to. So let's watch. Usually I wait 15 minutes. So 43 puts. So I need to put an order to try to close it. So this scaler is up 11%, Upstart down 12%, MGM down 5%, Lyft up 30%, Robinhood is up 15%. Well, that's where short term it's overbought, right? Model doesn't see 496. In the next 10 days it does, but I think it's a little bit ahead of itself. All right. All right, so let's put an order to close MGM. Give me 1 second. I need to reset the password. Can log in to put an order to close the trade. Okay, now I'm in. All right, so MGM short put trades at 41, and it's can close it. Let's try to break even on the put and close. So I'm going to put an order to try to break even on the short put. No, orders don't work. All right. So I'm trying to close it for 10 cents. Let's see if I can change it for 13. Okay. All right. Looks like spiders are fighting for 496 level. That hasn't changed. So now we have basically 2 candlesticks. So Lyft continues to grind higher. Upstart down, Robinhood up 14%, and Zscaler is 60 level. Yeah, so I'm out of MGM. MGM is 4270. I need to fix this. There's something wrong with the logging, so I can't. I mean, I can try to fix it. Let me make sure that I answer all the questions first. All right. So Mark, Patrick, Charles, President Bob, Arminder, Boeing. Like this makes sense in this type of market. Spiders 480, buy 486 put and sell 488 put. Buy 46 put, sell 488 put. So credit put spread. Credit put spread. And hit enter at this point. Okay. Spiders. So the question is buy in February 486, sell in 488 put spread. And buy February 504 call and sell 502. So Iron Condor. I mean, condors are great. I know a lot of people are selling strangles, and iron condors is good. That's assuming that you think that the volatility is not going to get higher. So selling iron condors makes sense, right? I mean, you're selling 488 put where you're assuming, well, February 23rd is what, next week, that spiders is not going to break through these levels. And I'm not sure if that's makes sense. So I think volatility is going to pick up. So I mean, selling call spreads makes sense to me. Selling put spread, I would wait because we have VIX expiration today, and then we have February expiration, right? Plus we have macroeconomic data. So that can spark volatility. And iron condor is considered to be market neutral strategy. And I think volatility is picking up. You can kind of see it across the board. So I would want to wait. All right, so I'm out of the short put on MGM, right? So that's good. It continues to sell off. Let's look at Zscaler. Also losing momentum. And Lyft. Okay, so 15 minutes. So I'm managing Zillow, not Zscaler, Zillow calls. I'm trying to close them. Meanwhile, Microsoft is turning negative. Meta is up 2%. Apple is turning negative. So LA Lilly continues to grind higher, and NVO continues to grind higher. Is holding on to the 496 level. So spiders are still above 496 level, which is good. Any questions? All right, so I'm watching this scalar. Apple is lower. So it looks like mega cap, not all are participating in rebound. Where's the QQQ? QQQ is up. I mean, Robinhood better than expected results, Lyft better than expected results, Zillow better than expected results, Airbnb and Upstart is still down. All right. So I'm just watching Lyft as well. Pulling back. Trader Hawk. Let's look at Apple. So Apple is actually getting close to retesting session low from yesterday. And same as Microsoft. NVIDIA continues to grind higher. So that's good. So you're kind of a mixed picture. And then QQQ is up and spiders are still above 496. Okay. All right, let's review the rest of the positions. Okay, so I'm out of Z, so that's good. All right, any questions so far? Fred, good morning. Thank you so much. Kirill, VIX already at 14, Bitcoin soaring to 252. Yeah, so let's review. Let's do 1 hour chart. So NVIDIA is already retesting all-time highs, so NVIDIA is doing great. 30-year yield continues to grind higher, not retreat that much. 10-year yield is also didn't retreat that much. Dollar is close to 105. So for now, interest rates and dollar still continues to grind higher. Spiders is, as I said, 50% retracement, right? It's fighting for the 50% retracement. You can draw this here. Right. So above 50%, and bulls are in control. If we drop below 50%, bears are in control. Session high, and also the overhead resistance around 498, 200. Regional banks so far rebound is weak, right? It's already below session high yesterday. ARK Innovation, strong rebound on earnings from Robinhood and Lyft. Gold is still weak. Silver is still weak. Germany rebounded, better than expected industrial production, better than expected inflation from UK, right? So we do have movement in Europe, up 1%. I mean, above yesterday's session high, but still facing a lot of overhead resistance at 29. Copper weak rebound, platinum, Google weak rebound, Bitcoin 52. Bob is right. We're breaking above 50,000. So that's positive for the bulls and NVIDIA, right? So for now, it's just a healthy pullback. Nobody is panicking, right? If people are buying NVIDIA and Bitcoin, then no one is panicking, right? There's no panic. Let's see, home builders, still just a healthy pullback, no new signals, trading well position. China trades in this box, right? No new signal between 23 and 21. Industrials had a nice rebound after yesterday, so again at all-time highs. So industrials actually closed the gap; they're much stronger. Somebody asked about Boeing. Boeing's in trouble, right? The good news, it's not making new lows, right, for the past months or so. So as long as it's above 200 level, I wouldn't be worried about Boeing, right? And potentially it needs to get above 200-day moving average to start recovering. But that might not happen till the next earnings season, right? They need some positive catalyst, positive news that all their problems are behind them, indicates that this is a bottoming process, right? Which is good, and you're just waiting down, right? So for now, I would wait and just see what happens. I miss. Carol, we talked about good morning, Fred. VIX is already back to 14. Yeah, VIX kind of, I think it's volatility due to expiration. So it could be due some rebalancing and repositioning. So we'll see. For now, VIX is back to under 15, which is good. It was as high as 18 yesterday. Bob, yeah, Ella Lilly continues to grind higher. I agree. So that's good. And VO, I think, is grinding higher. And VO is grinding higher. Ella Lilly is grinding higher. ARM. What happened to ARM? ARM held yesterday's low. Yes, it did hold yesterday's low, but I'd still be very careful. Squeeze. There's a short calls and they have longs, and to hedge they, longs the stock. So as these short calls loses delta because it's not going anywhere, right? And delta starts decreasing, they have to sell the stock, and that's where you can get that gamma squeeze. I mean, for now, I would watch 120 level, I guess. If you're in ARM, watch the 120 level. If we make new lows, I would be out. Right? You could have double top. It could get back to 160. So I mean, this is very tactical short-term trading. So I would use one night, right below yesterday's low is your stop level. So you have 14 points to the downside, and you could revisit the highs, 30 points to the upside. If you like these 2-to-1, the risk reward, but expect a lot of volatility. Let's get back to lift. Continues to grind higher. Robin. Okay, Robinhood, you can close the calls. If you I did 16 calls, now you can be out of those. So the good news, there is a lot of premium in these options, so that's the good news. Lift continues to grind higher. The only thing I have is left. Okay, I think that's all I have left. Yeah. All right, so in terms of other positions, let's see. So I did close Amazon. Oh, I can't. Let's see, 901. Okay, so let me try to fix. Oh, I can't. Okay, so we can just go over. I have it here, which is fine. So one position, EWJ long. Still kind of the uptrend is intact in Japan. So that's bullish. I did close Amazon. I did have a call spread. It broke through the earning. Rebound is still, for now, it's not all green light, right? There are stocks that are moving higher, stocks that are moving lower. So spiders are still at yesterday's session high. Okay. So for that reason, I did close Amazon. We talked about MGM. I'm out of MGM. NVO, right? So still have small position in NVO. It continues to grind higher, along with LA Lilly. I do have QQQ put. I mean, we're at session high yesterday, so we'll see. For now, you can still see weakness in some of the stocks, like Microsoft or Amazon. So For now, I am still bearish on QQQ. So I do have 420, 430 put spread. I put a 430, 420 put spread yesterday with the idea that we will revisit these levels. And I do have 410, 400 put spread. Right? So I have two put spread. This is the reason why I don't want to do. I wouldn't do iron condors. The readjustment during earnings. I mean during the expiration week. That's possible, or it could be that people are concerned that interest rates are not going lower first half of the year. Then I think there's more room pressure to the downside. I do have SH position, right? So that's another short position. So either QQQ put spread, or you can buy SH to hedge, right? So I'm long SH. Still have TLT position. TLT is kind of, it's trading long-term support that goes back. We've been at this level a few times. Same thing. Once it broke through this level in August, right? That's when we start having a pullback, 10% pullback. So this level is important. It's sitting at this level, both the dollar and treasuries. They're sitting TLT prices, right? Not the yield, but TLT is sitting at this level. If it does break below that level, I think market is going to be vulnerable for similar pullback that it's. For now, it's still sitting at this level, so I would watch. Right. Junk bonds are actually recovering. Right. Junk bonds also trading below 50-day moving average. Right. That's not good. That's a. February. Do you predict this is just an oversold bounce and still going lower through February? Well, yeah, I put on the QQQ put spread. The question is, do I think that the market is this just a short-term bounce, or and market is going to rally, or is there more downside pressure? I think there's more downside pressure, right? I think the top is set. We could revisit the top based on the data, right? Based on the data. But I think this, at least for now, I'm trading that this is the top, right, for short term. So can we move 1-2% higher? Yes. This is, the support, right? So as long as we're above that support, that's fine. We could trade, next couple of weeks. So next couple of weeks, I would watch the breakout. If it does this, I would close my short put spread. If it does this, then I'm going to close my long, my short positions. So I think 480, probably trim short position at 480. In terms of positioning, let's look at the positioning. Let's see if they changed. So I'm trying to close my lift calls, and they just don't want to go down. So I have to adjust. Sorry. All right. So the question is there more room to the downside, right? A lot of it depends on positioning, right, in spiders. So let's see if it has changed much. And we do have, I mean, there is a VIX expiration today, right? So yesterday people kind of rebalanced. So we had this big spike in volatility in VIX expiration. Now we have equity expiration. Tomorrow, right? Today and tomorrow, strike 500, right? So this is the 500, right? 499, 500. So there's a lot of call selling, right? Today and tomorrow, people are selling 500 calls, right? It used to be at 505, now it shifts into 500. Basically saying that kind of confirms the technical analysis, right? That probably we're not going to get above 500, right? Model basically doesn't see 500, in the next 10 days. So that confirms the neural networks, and it confirms that, there's a big gap, right? Usually, that in order for the bulls to regain the momentum, they have to close the gap, and then we're not that far from all-time highs. So this gap has to be closed. And if bulls are unable to close the gap, then there is more pressure to the downside. So technical analysis, I think, matches the neural networks. It matches now the dealer flow, right? So now zoom out, because we have February 16th, Friday. That's where majority of the volume is. So majority of the volume as they expire, same thing. You do have 504 and 500, right? So Friday's expiration, it's just 504, and what's this track? 501, right? So the largest spike is at Invena, right? Gamma matches, right? So that basically tells me that, same thing. We're probably not going to get above 500 between now and the Friday, right? And as we approach in 500, people are going to just sell more calls, right, at 500, because I'm not the only one who sees concentration in these strike prices, right? This is just 501 strike. There are a lot of people selling calls. In terms of put buying, right, there's still put buying. The biggest spike is at 492. Was the February puts, right? People are holding on to their 490, 492 puts, right? Because they're concerned. They're not closing them. They're not closing them because they're concerned that we can revisit 490, 492. So I think we're trading in this box between the gap, or 502 and 490, right? And that all of these options will expire this Friday. Then the next position is the March expiration, which people are building. First of all, it's not as much. A week ago, the top was set at around 80,000 Vana. And the first big spike is at 485, right? 485. Not much room below that, right? The next is 475. So you do have pretty well positioned in 485, 475. I don't see any big volumes prior to that. There's some, 10,000 is not a lot, but there's some at 485 and 475. So somewhere between 475 and 485, I think the market will hold its ground, right? 475, 485. It matches technical analysis, right? It matches technical analysis that you do have put buyers at these levels and 475. They're not huge, but they're a relatively large position. So it tells me, especially after Friday expiration, 5. So that means probably 485 is the next level. And if we don't hold 485, then the next level will be 475. So I would concentrate. This is, to me, this is support number 1. Short term, we do have puts that will expire in the next couple of days. If we break through the 490, then this is support number 2, right? And if we break through this level, support number 3. And this is the all-time high before we broke out of it, right? That 477, 480 level. So, technical, I think most likely is that the 477, 480 will hold. right? But I still think there's more pressure to the downside, right? Especially, that fact that Apple is not rebounding, and actually vice versa, it's making new lows, right? That's not good, right? Apple is good proxy for what is the market doing. So let's see, what are the rest of the... Tesla is weak, Google is weak, Apple is weak, Microsoft is weak, Amazon is weak, right? So very weak rebound, and are actually strong rebound. So it's not all green light, you do have a little bit caution. IWM, also kind of struggling to, obviously close this gap. So I think I would be just cautious for the next 2-3 weeks. Next 2 to 3 weeks, I propose to be market neutral. Have your bullish positions, have your bearish position, don't take off your hedges, and just wait to see what happens. If you're bullish, maybe you have 3 bullish positions, 1 bearish. If you bear, all right. So what else did I not cover? So we talked about silver, right? I do have position in silver, TLT, and Verizon, right? So we briefly talked about silver, I think, right? And gold. They pulled back significantly as a result of strong dollar, right? Dollar is extremely overbought now. Yield is extremely overbought. At least short term, they should revert to its mean. So for now, I'm kind of holding silver, but I am watching the year-to-date low. Right, it better hold. And you can see TLT is sitting at the major support resistance. 10-year yield sitting at the major support resistance, and obviously interest-sensitive sectors like silver as well. So for now, but it's a stock position, so I'm not worried. I still think gold and silver will have a good year and potentially will revisit the highs. And you just have to be patient. Verizon, I have option spread, so you can't really be patient. I have to be, kind of right. So it started to rebound slowly. At least it's kind of held to the 50-day moving average. It's trying to regain this uptrend. It's trying to regain the uptrend. The fact that it's not collapsing, yesterday and today, it shows, and it's not making new lows in 4 days, that we're building the bottom around 50-day moving average, and now, just have to follow the market, right? So that is possible, right? So I would watch 50-day moving average. Okay, so those are all the positions that I have. Any questions? By Desi. I would wait, right? So, I didn't close my TLT position. I still have it. It's sitting at this level, right? So it is overbought. It's sitting at the long-term support. But, I'm pretty bearish on the market. And inflation is harder than expected, right? There's always risk in TLT trade, which I said is that if inflation starts reversing, it's one data point, it could be just January, anomaly, but it doesn't make support. So for now, I would wait to find at least support, right? Like Verizon, right? Maybe Verizon is also interest sensitive stock, but at least I know what my stop level is, right? I know that if it drops below 39, I would be out on, right? But for the past 5 or 6 sessions, it's not making new lows, right? Just like Boeing, right? For the past month, it's not making new lows. So I know where my exit strategy, right? In my journal, I'm writing down if I'm below 199 on Boeing, I'm out, right? Because A, consolidation, and B, and then you can have C all the way to 180, right? So you need to have exit strategy. TLT hasn't really built any bottom, right? 30-year yield, August of 23 highs. So there's really no overhead resistance, right? So it could be 450, it could be 460, could be 470. That means that TLT is going to grind lower and lower and lower. Granted, it is overbought, right? You do have the strong, A, B, C, right? So it's probably coming to an end, right? But the question is, where's the, where's that end, right? Because it went from 4 to 440, right? And it went from 410, probably 450, 460, right? Assuming equidistant move, right? Assuming that the distance between here and here and here and here is the same. So it is overbought. It needs a positive news, probably like CPI data, or maybe PPI data. Maybe if PPI comes in better than expected, that inflation is lower, and people are going to say, well, CPI is an anomaly. Let's just keep buying the market and sell the yield. It's possible, right? It's possible, but I would wait. My point is, I would wait tomorrow and then Friday expiration, and then we have NVIDIA. It went from 400 to 800, right? So it doubled in price from 400 to 800. So the revenue or their multiple has to, justify that. Still a PE of 95. So we'll see, right? We'll see, right? That also could look like elevator up, elevator down. Last time earnings pullback, it happened here. Earnings pullback. This was the first earnings, obviously, big rally. But 300 versus 700 is a big difference. Okay, so it makes sense to be cautious between now and next 7 days, right? Next 7 days, I would be cautious. NVIDIA could trigger significant pullback. February expiration could trigger significant pullback. So I would be cautious. All right, Discord, thank you. Mark, Jenny, welcome. Say hello. Let me know if you guys are Yellow Tunnel subscribers or if you just found us on Discord. Just type in inside of the stream chat. All right, Jenny, welcome. Mark, Jared Moffat, welcome. All right, today I'll fix the elite circle, and probably we'll see if there's opportunity to do the earnings trade today as well. All right, Larissa, Alona, Viva, Bob, Michael, Patrick, Ted, Thomas, Sidar, and Victor. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And a lot of volatility over the next 10 days. See a lot of pressure to the downside in NASDAQ. So, bulls have to prove themselves that this is just a short-term blip. For now, we'll just have to wait. Buy G and retire. G seems to be kind of have its own trajectory. I agree. G is awesome. But I didn't see any earnings worth trading tonight. I haven't looked yet. Let me research. Charles Tradespoon. Charles, thank you. Desi, thank you. Roku and AMAT tomorrow. Okay. I mean, Roku is very volatile. They've been in the news, but AMAT usually is a more or less stable earnings. Good candidate. Thank you, Bob. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you on the YouTube channel.